Dignity to me is each of us gets treated in the way that a human being deserves, that I'm treated that way by them and they're treated that way by me. It started at St. Anne's Catholic Church last summer when we were just needing help in the yard, in the gardens. We didn't have anyone to help, and we started asking people if they wanted to work. And then they asked if they could bring their friends. And so I said, well, what about Tuesday? Because it just sounded like a good day. So Andy Dwanch, who's also a parishioner at St. Anne's, had happened upon us, and he's the COO of Career Path Services, and he said, we could really make something out of this. I said, great, let's do it.
Over the course of 5 or 6 months, it grew from a couple of people at the end of each shift saying, can I bring a friend, all the way up to October of this last year, and they had about 60 people that were coming on a weekly basis on Tuesday mornings.
Dignified Workday is an opportunity for unhoused people to find some gainful employment. Most of our labor is coming from people who live in shelters or they're just outside. They're very happy to be given a chance.
One of the ways that you basically try to help people recover from those situations is to get cash in their pocket, to help them basically get back on their feet and determine what it is that they need most to find their way forward. And oftentimes it's food, but this is kind of a move away from like a materials-based distribution model where you provide them what you think that they need, and instead you give them the agency to support themselves.
What hearing about the work at St. Anne's told me is that these are our neighbors and they just want an opportunity. They want an opportunity to earn some income, and they're willing to show up week after week after week to work. That aligns with the organization that I operate, Career Path Services, in making sure that we are creating access points for all people to be able to gain access to employment and to support themselves and their families.
Career Path Services was willing to step in and use their structure to create an actual legit program. People are payrolled, they get W-2s, it's an actual job. And so here we are today. We have about 25 people on the payroll, and we're bringing more on right now. In the beginning, I just was willing to take the chance. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders, and I thought, I guess I assumed that when a person is under that kind of duress and there's an expensive tool that's highly marketable sitting there, if I were in their position, I would probably sell it in order to find a way to survive that night. That's probably what I would do. And that's not what we found. They're extraordinarily trustworthy, decent and gracious, and concerned about making sure that we are protected and that our tools are protected and that things are cared for correctly.
It started with our kind of internal discussions around what would need to be true in order to be able to do this. From there, it became, how do we continue to do this and create an opportunity for folks that really is what I would consider low barrier. We want to make sure that if someone shows up and they want to work, that we are able to allow them to work.
They work like crazy. But what surprised me is the power of this carrot, of this job. They want the job. Our requirements are low. We don't ask about sobriety. They just have to be ready to work. And they have to be able to work. And if they're not able to work that day, then I'll say something like, it looks to me like you're not doing very well today. Maybe you can come back tomorrow and try again. And they'll say, okay. Then tomorrow they come back. But they want to work. And so it's an incredible carrot of, I need to be well enough to work because I like this job. Well, that's a huge carrot. That's something somebody really wants. And we stumbled upon it. We had no idea how badly they wanted that and how much they appreciated.
There are a bunch of folks in the program that are really making strides, leaps and bounds forward. We have several who have been housed now or have accessed permanent housing and are really building up. Several folks who are working consistently 20, 25 hours a week, and that we're promoting into kind of like crew leadership positions. We see that as a fundamental way of building the program and making it more scalable, is by elevating folks from within the program into those types of roles. Also on the other side, I've got a couple who refuse to stay in shelters because they're scared or uncomfortable, or they've been just on the street too long. And we have some who are dealing with drug addiction, mental health issues, co-occurring disorders.
When they see people out there not working, they think they don't want to, and that's not true. That's the first thing. The second thing is they just don't have any comprehension of how hard these guys work. It's just shocking what they will do and how fast they do it. And that's what I've learned. I just can't believe it. Dignified Workday is actually starting to implement their own program where they will rent the apartments themselves, and we're going to put our participants into those apartments. We basically circumvent all of those issues. If they work with us, we have an apartment for them. And then they are able to work towards getting into their own apartment from that point. And with Dignified Workday, there is no end point on chances. Every day's a new day, it doesn't matter, or every week's a new week, if you want to say that. And if you aren't doing well for a while and we don't see you a bit, then you come back, that's great, we're glad you're back. That's all I care about, is that people are able to get jobs, people are able to get housing, that we can make this possible to anybody who wants it in Spokane.
The beauty, I think, in designing something new is thinking about, now, can this be scaled? Can it be taken anywhere? And I think that the answer is yes, it could really be scaled to anywhere in America that is wanting to come alongside the unhoused in your community and connect them to economic opportunity.